Hello and welcome to PSM Speak. I hope you have watched my previous video in which I tried to compare the economies of Japan and India in the context of India overtaking Japan in terms of GDP. The other countries above India, as you know, United States, China in terms of GDP, the second biggest in the world after the United States, then Germany, and fourth is India, which has taken the Japan's position, whereby Japan has become the fifth largest. We compare often India's progress and growth economy with that of China, and rightly so. India and China during 90s were almost same in terms of their gross domestic product and per capita gross domestic product. In gross domestic product, their number was something in the range of 140 to 145. Now China has reached to second position and India to fourth position. So now compared to China, where does India stand? It's good that India is in the fourth position, all right. Now with 146 crore, India is the most populous in the world, and India's gross domestic product is $4.1 trillion and China $19.2 trillion, some 468%, close to 5 times bigger than that of India. The International Monetary Fund's estimate in 2025, and the per capita income is important because if you divide the entire gross domestic product by the population in that country, what is it that this country is going to get to make a comparison? India's, as you know, is $2,878 per capita against China's 13,687, which means it is almost close to $14,000 per capita to take it into the developed countries club. So China has reached to that level, whereas both the countries were equal in 1990 in terms of their GDP and GDP per capita. So although India's position has gone up to 4 in the ranking from 140 and 145, and China's 2, the 2 and 4 are a bit misleading because the fourth is distant fourth, both in terms of GDP and per capita GDP. And another thing that we are all glad about is India's growth. GDP growth is the fastest in the world. China's is only, as per IMF's estimate, 4.5% against India's 6.2%. IMF says that. Our Reserve Bank of India estimate is 6.5% India's GDP growth. In any case, 6.2% is much higher than 4.5% of China. But the base of India over $4.1 trillion against $19.2 trillion. Even the lower growth of 4.5% on $19.2 trillion per annum would be $864 billion against higher growth, 6.5%, highest in the world. The growth in absolute terms will be $254 billion. India's is $254 billion and that of China is $864 billion. So that way, even growth is also not that satisfactory. It should go much faster. Now, this exercise is to know where we actually stand, to have our own strategy, our own planning, to fulfill our goal to become number one. India should become number one. Why not? Because India's population is 146 crore, highest, number one in terms of population. So it should be number one in economy. Even otherwise, India's share of population is about 18% in the world. So in world GDP, $115 trillion, India should be 18%. That is not there. So India should grow. For that growth, it should know where it is today. The per capita GDP rank of India is 141 out of 197 countries against China's 70. whereas both traveled from 141, 145 from 1990. So China is moving fast, is clearly evident. We have seen in our previous video the human development index ranking. I am not going to tell the details about that again. India's ranking is 130 to 134, whereas that of China is 75. So China fares better compared to India in terms of HDI ranking also. Now the other countries, US. United States per capita income $89,105 and India's 2,878. So 31 times bigger than that of India. United States GDP, as you know, is $30.5 trillion against $4.1 trillion of India. Japan's $4.1 trillion just equal to that of India, a little less than that, and whereas Germany's $4.74 trillion. This is gross domestic product. But we are only viewing in the per capita terms. Even gross domestic product also, these countries are having higher. US and China having much higher, whereas Japan is close and Germany is little more than India. And Germany's $55,911, the per capita GDP of that country, which means it is 19.42 times, 1942% bigger than that of India. China's is 475% bigger than that of India. So India's GDP to be equal to that of the United States, to get the same per capita, the gross domestic product should be $127 trillion. And nothing is wrong in working towards that. We should. And this is only an evaluation to see where we are today. Thank you so much for so patiently watching this video. Please do subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it already. Subscription, as you know, is free, but it greatly encourages me to present to you more videos of this type more frequently. Thank you.